Welcome to Friends of Israel Defense Forces' first ever virtual national gala. Thousands are tuning in for an evening filled with dramatic stories and unique experiences from soldiers across all ranks and divisions of the IDF. You'll hear how the IDF and FIDF have responded to the pandemic, as well as insights into many FIDF programs that support the soldiers' well-being. Our esteemed guests include Israel's Prime Minister, the alternate Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, the IDF's Chief of Staff, Pastor John Hagee, Yael Eckstein, and very special musical performances from Idan Reichel, Noah Kirel, Eden Alena, and the IDF Ensemble. Hosted by Moran Atias and FIDF's National Chairman, Rabbi Peter Weintraub. Moran is an internationally respected Israeli actress, well known for her humanitarian work around the world. Please welcome Moran Atias.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Moran Atias, joining you from Herzliya, Israel, in an amazing studio set designed and created just for you on this extraordinary night of giving and solidarity in honor of the soldiers of the Israel Defense Forces at our first ever virtual national gala. Although we're saddened that we're not able to gather in person this year, we're very excited for this very special opportunity to create a true coast-to-coast celebration, uniting communities across the United States and Panama. We welcome all of FIDF supporters and past gala attendees and offer a special Bruchim Habayim welcome to those for whom this is your first FIDF experience. A warm welcome to the FIDF's Vanguard donors. We promise all of you an unforgettable evening. Tonight, you'll be introduced to many heroes, men and women who are giving everything to defend their country with great courage, compassion, and humanity. As you hear their story, please remember that tonight's gala is both to recognize their never-ending efforts in protecting Israel and Jews around the world, and to raise as much money as possible to create for them a better everyday life and the promise of a brighter future. Each and every gift is crucial and will impact a soldier's life. At the heart of IDF's code of ethics is the value of camaraderie and always having the backs of your fellow soldiers. Come along as we join Army, Navy, and Air Force on a high-stakes joint training mission as all three branches target a suspicious infiltration. Make sure to turn up the sound. You don't want to miss a thing.
We have a threat approaching our border. Contact air, land, and sea right now.
קודקוד. רות עבור קודקוד. יש ניסיון חדירה מהים. חיובי. תפעיל את הכוחות. יאללה, יצאנו.
Oh, hi everyone from the FIDF Gala. I'm Sergeant Tillman from the Givati Brigade, and we're here in a simulated mission. Here, but come check it out. In this exercise here, intelligence has told us that we have terrorists trying to infiltrate Israel from the sea. So we're going to support them from the land. Yalla, guys, get into the savannah. The helicopters are on their way.
FIDF Shalom. I'm a Black Hawk pilot from the 124th Squadron, and we're just getting ready to take off. The Black Hawk is a strong engine helicopter in the Air Force. We use it for complex missions like this, for emergency rescue and evacuations.
I just hung up with the Navy and I told them we'll be there in a few minutes.
You know, we have more than 100 pilots, but she's one of the best.
We're ready. Let's go.
FIDF, you still with us?
Let me tell you what is going on. The terrorists are trying to infiltrate our waters, but we are not going to let that happen. Even though the sea is huge. It's amazing how we can stop these threats with boats like the Dvora. The crew approaches these situations at high risk.
בבקשה להתקין את תצפית עיניו שקיבלתי מעכשיו בפתק 500.
These are the type of missions that get me pumped. I'm proud to be a combat soldier. Rega. Hold on. I see the Blackhawks are approaching.
We are watching our soldiers in the water and on the ground so that they know we have their back.
If we need to, we get them out fast.
הכוח! יש לנו 15 ימים מקדימה! להשיב באש! The terrorists are close to shore. If the Navy doesn't get them in time, we are prepared to confront them face to face.
We are closing in on our target.
It looks like they got them.
Yes, the Navy captured the terrorists. Guys, we're leaving.
Mission accomplished.
Okay, we're heading back to base.
Thank you, FIDF, for joining us during this intense training. As you saw up close, all three forces of the IDF must stay vigilant, expect the unexpected, and prepare for any threats against Israel 24/7. Enjoy the rest of the Gala.
Amazing. The IDF is such a powerhouse. The remarkable fortitude and unbreakable bond these soldiers share is critical to Israel's safety and security. Now, joining me in the studio is a powerhouse in her own right, Israeli pop sensation and IDF singer Noah Kirel. Noah has been serving since February, and in the last few months signed a dream-come-true contract with Atlantic Records. Performing a cover of Diamonds by Rihanna is Noah Kirel.
Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Fire light in a beautiful sea. I choose to be happy. You and I, we're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that we'd become one right away. Oh, right away. At first sight, I felt the energy of sun rays. I saw the life inside of you. Shine bright tonight. You and I. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Eye to eye, so alive. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Shine bright like a. We're beautiful like diamonds in the sky. Palms rise to the universe as we both shine and believe. Feel the warmth will never die. We're like diamonds in the sky. You're a shooting star, I see a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. At first sight, I felt the energy of sun rays. I saw the life inside of you. Shine bright tonight. You and
Thank you, Noah Kiril, a superstar with an unbelievable voice and gift to share with our audience and the world. And now, joining us from New York City is my co-host, FIDF's National Chairman, Rabbi Peter Weintraub. Those of you who know Peter know how dedicated he is to the soldiers, and it is our privilege to have him with us tonight. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Moran. It's wonderful to co-host with you tonight in our wonderful world of virtual living. What makes this evening so important is the recognition of and the support for the tireless efforts of the protectors of Israel day in and day out. The past 6 months tested them in unimaginable ways as an invisible new enemy threatened our world. Partnering with the Israeli government, our courageous soldiers led the effort in protecting all of Israel's people, regardless of religion or race, from the threat of COVID-19. The emotional and physical needs of our beloved IDF soldiers have greatly increased during these times. They are ready to take on whatever is necessary to defend Israel. We need to be ready to stand by their side in whatever way we can, which is why we are here tonight. Even heroes need a hero. And these soldiers depend on us to have their backs as they look after Israel. And there is no time like the present, so please make a gift in their honor right now and be their hero. At the bottom of your screen, you will see a number to call to make your donation or a number to text to make a pledge. And if you're on a tablet or laptop, you can complete the donation form by scrolling down to the page you are currently viewing. Please give. Last summer, I had the honor to meet Israel's Chief of the General Staff, Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi. We sat together. He told me that the partnership between the IDF and the FIDF will become even stronger. He confirmed FIDF as the official fundraising organization of the IDF in the United States and Panama. It gives me great honor to introduce Israel's Chief of the General Staff, Lieutenant General Aviv Kochavi.
It is not only an honor, it is a duty from my side to take the opportunity and to say thank you for the friends of the IDF as a whole, as an organization. You know, the F of the IDF stands for friends of the IDF, of course. For me, it's for the IDF. We feel this for this IDF. We feel your friendship each and every day. We see the project, we see the contribution, and I'm hoping that as soon as possible, we can get together and we can plan and design future projects, future enterprises. And I know your commitment. I know the way you treat the IDF. I know how much the IDF is important to you. And you know, really, I have no words. We don't take it for granted. I have no words to express my appreciation to all this big, huge, and unique organization. I don't think that anywhere in the world there is another kind of ties and organization like this. Thank you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I'm doing it on behalf of all of the soldiers and commanders of the IDF. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Chag Sameach veShana Tova.
Thank you to the IDF's Chief of Staff for your words and for being an incredible partner to FIDF. From the IDF's inception, both men and women were required to serve. And only 30 years later, Israel's law changed, allowing women to cross enemy lines during conflict. Over the next few decades, women became pilots for the first time. Co-ed battalions were created, and women joined the artillery corps. The sky's the limit for women in the IDF's constantly opening new doors. In the next few segments, you will meet IDF trailblazers, each with their own inspiring story. We have a special guest joining us here in the studio tonight. She has had a remarkable journey serving in the IDF for 14 years already. She currently serves in the Artillery Corps, which is responsible for operating medium and long-range weaponry. Please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Lieutenant Colonel Efrat.
Hi, Moran.
Hi, Motek. What an honor.
It's an honor for me too. Thank you for inviting me today.
No, thank you for joining us. You're definitely part of the FIDF family.
Yeah.
Where did the idea of joining combat begin, especially for a woman?
Yeah, I know it will sound like a cliche, but when I was in high school, we went to a delegation to Poland. And it's very common that guys in the kibbutz are going to take a combat position. But I think that when I came back from Poland, I came from the journey and I felt that I feel like I need to do something else. I didn't know that there was a program for a woman in a combat position. But I remember that I came back to Israel and decided that I'm going to do something different. I told it to my father. He was an officer in the Artillery Corps in East served. And he told me, Efush, you can be a combat. You can be a combat soldier. And that's what we decided to do.
And how old were you at the time?
17, something like 17, yeah.
And your dad said okay?
Yeah, he said okay. I don't think that he thought that I will go on that much or that far, but he absolutely believed that I need to do something for myself, that I will feel that I'm giving my best.
So explain to me the chain of roles.
I started as a combat soldier in the MLRS battalion, which is responsible to the rockets of the IDF. And during my ways, I decided that I want to be command, and after that, an officer, and I became a company command.
Wow.
And then I was needed to decide if this is my mission of life or that I'm living. And I decided to bring on, and I was the first woman in Deputy Battalion Command.
Wow.
And I will be the first Battalion Command in the Artillery Corps.
Wow.
I'm kind of closing circle, and I'm coming back to the battalion that I grew up in.
Unbelievable. So that's 14 years of service. Where do you find the commitment to stay? You know, people start and they move on, but you're staying and moving forward.
I think that people generally looks for be in a place that they feel meaningful. I think that everyone wants to be kind of a part of a big story. I want to be a part of a big story. I decided to be a part of the big Zionist story. And I think that you ask yourself all the time if you are in the right place, if you should do something else. But I think that as long as my heart is in the IDF, I should stay there.
Unbelievable. It's so inspiring. What do you think the supporters of FIDF should know?
I think that we are very connected to the friends of IDF because they are given a lot. Personal for me, they adapting my brigade. The help that they give us do a lot of changes for the soldiers. And we are very appreciated. And we know that we're not all the time say thank you because we don't have all the time the possibility to stop and say thank you, friends of IDF. But that's what makes me want to be here today and say thank you.
Well, you know what? Maybe now is an opportunity that you can say thank you to them directly. Camera is yours.
So I will tell the all friends of IDF, thank you for supporting us. You adapting my brigade, and you absolutely changed a lot of soldiers served. Lots of love.
Thank you for your time. Battalion Command Efrat. Wow, we're so proud of you. Thank you for your service for the IDF. Thanks for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. And thank you from the bottom of the Friends of IDF.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Wow, איזה תותחית. Can't translate that, but I can tell you that I'm very excited to welcome the IDF Ensemble to perform a special medley dedicated to all of our heroes, our heroic IDF soldiers.
יותר, קצת נחמד, קצת נבזה, זה הכל, זהו זה.
From every second, every day, from all the sounds that comes my way, and from the star that shines above, and from the wind that sing a song, and from that friends walk along to wish you nothing will go wrong.
La 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 la.
כי הים לכולנו פתוח.
בוא אלינו, אלינו, אלינו לים, אל הים המלהיב הברוח.
When it will open up above my head, I won't be scared, won't be afraid. אני לבד והמצנח שיפתח, שיפתח, שיפתח עליי, עליי.
המחנה נדלק ירח, המאהל כוכב זורח, והזמן כמו גומי מתמרח, ליל שבת בלי טעם ובלי ריח, והשקט את הלב קורח. איזו מין שלווה, ולא עושים שום דבר. איזו מין שלווה, ועוד שבוע עבר.
מחר אולי נפליג בספינות מחוף אילת עד חוף שנהב, ועל המשחטות הישנות יטעינו תפוחי זהב.
כל זה אינו משל ולא חלום, זה נכון, כאור בצהריים. כל זה יבוא מחר אם לא היום, ואם לא מחר, ואם עוד לא מחר, ואם עוד לא מחר, אז מחרתיים,
Israel Chai, thank you so much. What an amazing performance of the IDF Ensemble. Thank you. We can't wait to hear from you back in the program later tonight. Now, we're honored to present a personal message to all of you from the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu.
It's a real pleasure to join the Friends of the IDF at this very special Night of Heroes. This is in celebration of our servicemen and women who are doing so much to defend our country. I want to thank all of you from across the United States and from Panama for supporting the brave soldiers of the IDF. Special thanks to FIDF National Chair Rabbi Peter Weintraub and to FIDF National Director and CEO Major General Meir Khalifi. For 6 years at the helm of FIDF, General Khalifi has done an amazing job. Meir, you'll be greatly missed. And Rabbi Steve Weil, I wish you much success in your new role, and it's an important role. The young men and women of the Israeli Defense Force give the very best years of their lives to protect and defend the Jewish state. In doing so, not only are they safeguarding the citizens of Israel, but they're ensuring the Jewish future. Since before the establishment of Israel in 1948, the Jewish people have had enemies who want to destroy our dream of national redemption and independence in our historic land. Over the decades, we've been compelled to defend ourselves time and time again. Yet despite the ever-present threats, Israel is today undoubtedly an amazing success story. We are a technological powerhouse, a global center of innovation, a world leader in so many areas of science and research and technology. And none of this success would have been possible without the protection provided by the soldiers of the IDF. It is they who make all the difference, because the great transformation of our people's history took place when the Jewish people restored the capacity to defend ourselves by ourselves. This is what the IDF is all about. You could not help a more worthy cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Prime Minister Netanyahu, for your time and continued support of FIDF. No matter where in the world tragedy strikes, the IDF is ready to answer the call. From Japan to Brazil, Mexico, Haiti, Nepal, even Syria, to name a few. The IDF provides humanitarian aid wherever and whenever it is needed. When COVID-19 broke out, the IDF knew they had to do everything they could to stop the spread of the virus, including providing humanitarian aid and medical training to the Palestinian population. Brigadier General Rassan Aliyan, one of the highest-ranking Jews officers in the IDF, is a hero in his own right. I had the privilege of meeting him on an FIDF mission to Israel, where he hosted us for an evening in Daliat HaCarmel near Haifa to learn about the Druze culture. Brigadier General Rassan led the IDF's civil administration in its fight against COVID-19. Just watch.
I grew up in a Druze village called Shfaram. My grandfather chose to help establish the state of Israel in 1948. Serving the IDF has always been important to me and my family. I have served for 34 years, and I'm happy to be one of the highest-ranking Druze in the IDF. In the summer of 2014, Operation Protective Edge began in Gaza. I was the commander of the Golani Brigade, and I planned to direct my soldiers into a battle from headquarters. Once the battle began, my brigade faced heavy fighting, and I decided I needed to be with my soldiers. One of the nights, we were in a building in Shaj'iyah when RPG hit us. My face was covered with shrapnels. When I was in the hospital, all I could think about was returning to my soldiers in the field. In less than 36 hours, I was back in the field to complete the mission. Nothing could stop me.
אנחנו מאוד חזקים, אנחנו יציבים, אנחנו נעשה את הכל בשביל להשלים את המשימה עד הסוף.
Being a Golani combat commander in war was an honor for me. Today, I am the head of the civil administration. I deal with civilian and security coordination with the Palestinian Authority and with the international community in the region. We work to ensure the best quality of life for residents of the area. We are constantly improving the Palestinians' everyday life. As a combat officer, we must always separate the population involved in terrorism from the population that is not involved. The IDF is a humanitarian army, and even when we fight, we care for civilian life. We are always improving their everyday life, the health system, the economy, and all of that lead to security and stability in the region. Arabic is my mother language and has helped me with my current mission of people helping people. With the outbreak of the coronavirus, the COGAT unit helped the Palestinian Authority stop the spread of the virus. We provided hundreds of thousands of test kits, PPE, medical equipment, and training with the medical teams. It is in the common interest of everyone to work together to save lives. This is always a priority for us, and especially during this time. We say we are fighting a different type of war right now, a war that affects everyone, and we have to work together to prevent the spread of the virus. The IDF also helped deliver food and supplies to Holocaust survivors, ultra-Orthodox communities, and different communities in the need all over the country. While we do our jobs, FIDF does their job supporting the soldiers in times like this.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope everyone stays safe.
What an inspiration. Thank you, Brigadier General Rassan. The coronavirus has been life-changing for all of us. Personally, as the outbreak of the coronavirus began, I decided to fly back to Israel from the United States to be close as I can to my family. During this time, we've all tried to find a way to do what we can. I found myself in a coronavirus ward at Ichilov Hospital, volunteering, just trying to be of service. IDF's life's mission is to be of service. The IDF helped different communities in need, and as the virus spread, FIDF sprang into action. Thanks to your generosity and support and that of thousands of others, FIDF was able to answer the call and provide the immediate needs of the IDF soldiers by providing snack packages, hygiene kits, and most importantly, aid to the soldiers and their families who were hit the hardest by the economic downfall due to COVID-19. The soldiers of the IDF are not only tasked with their regular everyday duties on the front lines, but they also have to answer the call on the front home. It is crucial that we continue to support the soldiers during these difficult times. Now is the time to support them by calling in your gift, texting your pledge, or scrolling down on your tablet or laptop to donate. I'm counting on you. Now joining us from his studio is world-renowned and award-winning Israeli singer, songwriter Idan Reichel to say a few words and perform Lifnei Shigamer, before it ends.
Shalom, shalom friends of the IDF, shalom from Tel Aviv. I'm so excited and happy to be part of this important event. Every year I'm so touched to know that your embrace is still there, that you are still, like always, supporting those who are the most dear to us. The IDF soldiers who, with their inner strength and personal sacrifice and spirit of friendship, are filled with purpose. They keep our borders safe. They allow us to live our life in our small country, allow our kids to walk safely to school and for us to sit in traffic or to go to work. And even songs like these that I'm going to sing for you tonight from South Tel Aviv, which is possible because of that same soldier who is sitting at the border protecting us right now. Thank you for always remembering to support them and embrace them from distance. I'm sending you all a warm hug from South Tel Aviv.
Don't be afraid to fall in love and let your heart break even if you lose it all along the way. And when you wake up in the morning and you leave your life, don't be afraid to go and seize the day. Always searching where you came from, always winding up where you had just begun. To find the beauty in it all, and then you dance till you collapse because you know you found the one. Don't sit and let your life pass by. You found those moments in time when you leave an impression. And don't forget to stop and recognize and realize all that you've learned from life's lesson. To hold her close to me at nighttime, when she's sleeping the whole world just disappears. To breathe her deeply in the moonlight and to know for her I'll always be right here. לא לפחד להתאהב שישבר הלב, לא לפחד בדרך לאבד. לקום כל בוקר ולצאת אל החיים ולנסות הכל לפני שיגמר. לחפש מאיפה באנו, לחזור בסוף תמיד להתחלה. למצוא בכל דבר עוד יופי ולרקוד עד שנופלים מעייפות או אהבה. מכל הרגעים בזמן למצוא אחד לחוז בו, להגיד שהגענו. תמיד לזכור לרגע לעצור, להודות על מה שיש מאיפה שבאנו. לחבק אותה בלילה, כשהיא נרדמת אז כל העולם נרגע. לנשום אותה עמוק, לדעת שתמיד אני אהיה שם בשבילה. לחבק אותה בלילה, כשהיא נרדמת אז כל העולם נרגע. לנשום אותה עמוק, לדעת שתמיד אני אהיה שם בשבילה.
Thank you, Dan Reichel, for that beautiful performance. There are so many exciting things to come in our program. We will hear from a lone soldier from Boston who chose to leave his family and serve in the IDF. We will see the unbreakable bond between the U.S. and Israel's militaries. And Dan Reichel will be back for another intimate performance, so stay with us. Now we are honored to welcome alternate Prime Minister and Minister of Defense, the 20th IDF Chief of the General Staff, Benny Gantz.
My dear friends, nothing gives me more pleasure than addressing you here tonight. As you know, to me, the IDF is more than just a symbol of something amazing. It is more than a powerful military body that protects our land and people. It is more even than historical miracle that put arms into the hands of the Jewish people at critical moment in time. For me, the IDF is also a place I grew up in. The place, quite simply, that I became part of the Israeli story. And the place where I came to know it very well. Dear friends, in the 38 years between enlisting as an 18-year-old boy and finally taking off my uniform as the 20th Chief of Staff of the IDF, I saw the best of what this nation represents. I met soldiers from every walk of life, from east to west, from every corner of the globe, and who come from near and far, from every type of background to offer themselves to this effort, to this great human endeavor that is Israel. I saw people joining hands to contribute to something greater than any one of us alone. I saw regular people become nothing less than heroes, all of our sons and daughters inspiring us as they put aside their own needs and comfort to safeguard our Jewish homeland, to come together as a society and to build a better Israel along the way. My friends, thank you for choosing to be part of this great human endeavor as well. Thank you for letting yourselves to be moved to be part of this story too. For reaching across our differences, across all distances, to help us be our best in building this people's army that makes us so proud. May we all enjoy a sweet new year. Shana Tova. God bless you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister of Defense Benny Gantz, for taking the time to share a few words with us. One of FIDF's most beloved programs supports lone soldiers. While we call them lone soldiers, Chayalim Bodedim, FIDF makes sure that they never feel alone. Coming from 70 countries, they answer the most noble call, leaving their friends and families behind to serve in the IDF. Currently, there are over 7,000 lone soldiers serving. The situation has been especially hard for them during COVID, since they lack the support of a family in Israel and due to travel restrictions have no idea when they will see their families again. FIDF's Lone Soldier program supports these soldiers in every way they can, For example, a gift of $1,200 may be used to sponsor a lone soldier flight home to see their family once it is safe to do so. We hope it's very soon. A gift of $360 may provide a voucher to a lone soldier to ensure they have food on the table during the upcoming Rosh Hashanah holiday. We are not able to stand in their shoes, but we are able to send a clear message that they are always in our hearts. Now let's hear from Staff Sergeant Noah, a lone soldier from Boston who chose to follow in his older brother's footsteps and serve in the IDF.
Are you good, Noah?
Yeah, I'm good.
My name is Sergeant Noah. I was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. I come from a very Zionistic family. We would come to Israel once or twice a year at least while I was growing up. As soon as I finished high school, I decided to come to Israel, go to yeshiva, and maybe draft into the Israeli army like my older brother did. Within 10 minutes of me getting to Israel, I really felt it in my bones to come and serve the IDF. It was an opportunity that I couldn't miss. I served in the Special Forces unit attached to the Golani Brigade for 3 years. I went through amazing, intense training like you wouldn't believe. I served on a team of 21 guys, all of them Israeli but me. The guys were always in awe and shock that I came here because I wanted to and not because I had to. You get used to not seeing your parents as a lone soldier, but every once in a while it's nice to go home and it's nice to see your friends. And without the FIDF, that would not have been possible. I took my FIDF flight right before COVID-19 happened. I was actually on the last flight back from Boston before they shut things down. When I got back from America, I went straight into quarantine for 2 weeks and then straight to base for a month. We weren't allowed to leave. The FIDF actually came in, gave us a washing machine, a dryer, hygiene kits, and even snack boxes. Those washing machines, believe me, were running around the clock. What the FIDF did, it made our situation a lot better. I'm something that's called a negivist. It means I'm in the front of the pack with a special machine gun called the Negev. You go out on these missions and you feel like you're in Call of Duty. It's a live video game. It's terrifying and intense all at the same time. This past May, my unit was deployed to the northern part of Judah and Samaria to do special operations. I remember that night, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. We had finished what we were there to do. Moments before we left, a rock was thrown from the rooftop. All of a sudden, someone yelled, "There's an injured person, you know, get the medics." I see someone being dragged right to where I am. His face is all bloody. I thought it was one of my friends until the friend that I thought it was came up to me and said it was Amit. The doctor did emergency surgery for him on the street. I was holding the flashlight for the doctor. When we left, I was in the mindset that Amit was alive. We get back to base after our 3-kilometer trek back, and we're standing there and we're waiting for an update. Then the commander comes out. He stands us all in a circle and he says, "Look guys, there's no easy way to tell you this. Amit didn't survive." And I went blank. We all gave each other hugs, cried. The whole next month kind of just flew by. We went from going back into the village trying to find the guy who did it, to going to visit his parents, to going to the funeral, to going to the shiva, back into the town at night, back to the parents in the morning. No sleep, barely eating. And for me specifically as a lone soldier, I still haven't hugged my mom since this happened. My friends all went home to give their moms a big hug. They cried. And I did my fair share of crying. I fell asleep on the phone crying to my dad, crying to my mom numerous times. So yeah, it's just a different experience as a lone soldier, and I'm not taking away from my friends. We all went through a very traumatic, very hard to watch situation. I was 12 feet away from him when he died, and he was one of my best friends. I knew deep down when I drafted into the Israeli army that something like this could happen and that I was putting my life on the line. But until you lose a friend and until something like this does happen, that risk doesn't feel real. It goes from that video game feeling to real life and real consequences. Amit's death really touched the whole country. Us as a tzevet, as a team, we lost a brother. His parents lost a son. That brotherhood that we paid for in blood is going to be with us for the rest of our lives.
The lyrics of the next song were written by Reuven Politi, who was killed during the Yom Kippur War. After a night of battle, Reuven and his teammates woke up, and Reuven describes in an honest and emotional letter everything that he saw through his eyes. He modestly wrote he doesn't see himself and his friends as heroes, rather as defenders, those who do the hard and dirty work. And in his letter, he writes in the required order, first to his mom, then his dad, and then to everyone else.
כשהלילה תם, השמש מאירה, ותדעי מה על עינינו נראה. עצים סביב, רמי צמרת, אחר וחגזה. בתים גדולים סביב, החרוסים הם דהויי צבע. מעליך על הריסות אני אמא, תאמיני לי, אין כאן שום אגס ואין כאן פרח. גיבורים אנחנו, כי מלאכתנו שחורה. תשקע השמש, תבוא העלתה, ואז ננום בבגדנו במיטה. כן, אמא, זה חשוב, זה קשה וזה נורא. האדמה, שחור האופק, וכחול שמיים כאילו משתהה. והוא ממתין ולא נוגע, הוא לא נוגע באופק השחור. ביניהם חלל, שום קשר וכל השאר, וזה קשה מאוד, אך אני נשאר. יש כאן גדר תיל, ואחרי האחר שלופה, עם האבא וכל השאר. גיבורים אנחנו, כי מלאכתנו שחורה. לתשקע השמש, תבוא העלתה, ואז ננום בבגדנו במיטה. כן, אמא, זה חשוב, זה קשה וזה נורא. גיבורים אנחנו, כי מלאכתנו שחורה. לתשקע השמש, תבוא העלתה, ואז ננום בבגדנו במיטה. כן, אמא, זה חשוב, זה קשה וזה נורא. כשהלילה תם, השמש מאירה, את תדעי מה לעינינו נראה.
Thank you, FIDF. Shalom from Tel Aviv.
Thank you, Don, for such a beautiful and moving performance, which couldn't resonate more with the staff surgeon's Noah's story. Thank you for helping to make this night so very special. We're now going to Peter in New York to introduce someone he knows personally and greatly respects.
Thanks, Moran. We are most honored tonight to share with you a personal message from Pastor John Hagee, the founder and chairman of CUFI, Christians United for Israel, 9 million members speaking in one voice in support of Israel. Pastor Hagee, in word and in deed, has demonstrated his love for Israel and its protectors. Many CUFI supporters are with us tonight, and we thank them for their support. I have had the privilege of meeting Pastor Hagee on numerous occasions and welcome him now to share a few words.
Good evening, my dear friends. It is my great privilege and honor to speak with you today in support of the Friends of Israel Defense Forces. You have gathered here for the purpose of celebrating the heroic efforts of the IDF, both past and present. We also commemorate the gracious humanitarian efforts of IDF supporters and friends here and around the world, and to stand in solidarity with Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East. I am a lover of history. The mission statement of IDF is to defend the existence, the territorial integrity, and sovereignty of Israel. That means the history of the IDF began when God made an eternal covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that the Jewish people would forever be the rightful owners of the land of Israel. That covenant stands until this very day. We're here tonight to honor the soldiers, past and present, who have made unspeakable sacrifices, who have given the last full measure of devotion for the defense and the preservation of the state of Israel. I hear the sound of thunder coming from the crest of Masada, from Israeli soldiers standing beneath the flag of Israel, rippling in the breeze, shouting, "Never again!" Let us remember, it is the Israeli soldier from the Battle of Jericho to the Battle of Jerusalem who fights to preserve our God-given rights to the land of Israel. It is the soldier, not the rabbi, who has given us the freedom of religion. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us the freedom of the press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us the freedom of speech. It is the soldier, not the university professor, who has given us the freedom to protest. It is the soldier, not the lawyer, who has given us the right to a fair trial. It is the soldier, not the politician, who has given us the right to vote. It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag that makes freedom possible for those who live beneath the flag. May God bless the soldiers of the IDF now and forever, and protect and defend the state of Israel, the only democracy in the Middle East. May God bless each and every one of you. Good night.
Thank you so much, Pastor Hagee. Your words are an inspiration to all of us here tonight. We just heard about the unbreakable bond between the United States and Israel. This partnership between our two countries is based not just on our common values, but core values of freedom, democracy, and human rights. As the only democracy in the Middle East, Israel is a crucial, strategic, and existential partner for the United States. Together, the U.S. and Israel have collaborated on key military initiatives, including the Iron Dome, David Sling, and the Arrow. But the strongest collaboration, unquestionably, is the connection and mutually beneficial relationship between our soldiers. Please watch.
I am Major Rimon. I'm an Arrow battery commander in the Israeli Air Force. The Arrow weapon system is part of the aerial defense array that is comprised of 3 weapon systems, the Iron Dome, David Sling, and the Arrow itself. And together we act as the first and last line of defense against these threats, these ballistic missiles. air weapon system is in charge of defending against the longer-range missiles that can carry weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, the most existential threat that we have as a state today. The entire development of the air defense systems is always joint between the US and the Israeli Ministries of Defense. Last month, we had an experiment to test the weapon system against long-range threats. We've been working on this particular experiment for several years now. We managed to do it not only as a country with our engineers, but the soldiers operating the system themselves sat on the consoles and intercepted that target. This joint Israeli-US test shows the strength of our alliance and the commitment the US has for the safety of our citizens. We train with the US forces very often. Every other month, we have a joint training here in Israel, where the US soldiers come here and train with us in the same battery, in the same console. A lot of the US service members actually volunteer to be a part of this mission. To see them come over to help defend this country, the only democracy in the Middle East. To have that personal relationship, brothers, friends, comrades, partners, that's actually how we call them. Some of them are my Facebook friends, and we keep in contact for a long time after they come here for these trainings. The story of the Middle East has always been and always will be David and Goliath. The ability that we have to rely on our friends, on our brothers in arms across the sea in the US to aid us in our mission is very similar to the way that the FIDF helps us to aid our soldiers in their welfare and well-being.
שנה במכונית אני נוסע ומביט על מה היה ומה נהיה ואיך נפשי עוד הומייה מהמצדה של הזריחות ירושלים בסליחות
מחוף כנרת והחזיר מהמסיבות של תל אביב אבי חלם והתפלל לחיות בארץ ישראל היום ילדי אותי שואל מה הסיפור של ישראל כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב ואותך לא זה אבותינו שורשים ואנחנו הפרחים המנגינות שבט אחים ואחיות שכונה אותו רחוב וזמנים של יעקב נושבים ביחד מדודים בתוך קרמים ועגורים אדם הוא נוף מולדתו חורט קווים בכף ידו בין התפילות לנדרים ריחות פרדס של הדרים ובין השלימים תמיד אמצא את מקומי על הגיטרה מתנגן ניגון עתיק שמכוון כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב ואותך אני לא עוזב אבותינו שורשים ואנחנו הפרחים המנגינות שבט אחים ואחיות מבראשית הכל תפור טלאים טלאים של הסיפור ושתי מילים להתחבר בחוטיו של משורר
אני מכאן אני שייך וכל חבר שלי כמו אח
את הבועמת בלבבי אני מזרח מערבי
כאן זה בית, כאן זה לב שורשים ואנחנו
Thank you to the IDF Ensemble for that beautiful performance of Shevet Achim V'Acheot, a tribe of brothers and sisters. This song could not be more fitting for today's reality. We look forward to having you back with us later in the program. Thank you. FIDF has been blessed to partner with an international fellowship of Christians and Jews, also known as the IFCJ, for over 8 years. We are pleased to hear from the president and the CEO of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews and the daughter of the late Rabbi Yechiel Eckstein, Zichrono Livracha, Yael Eckstein.
Shalom from here in Israel. I'm Yael Eckstein, the president and CEO of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, and it is amazing to be here with you this evening. The fellowship has been supporters of the FIDF for 8 years, where we've donated over $60 million to help the soldiers. But what's happened in the past 6 months is something that I've never seen in my life. The fellowship's main mission is to help with basic needs to the people of Israel. And when Corona first started, we set a goal of reaching 30,000 elderly who are homebound with food aid within the first 2 weeks. Who is able to help us accomplish that goal but the holy soldiers of Israel? It was amazing to see how the soldiers immediately mobilized, not only for war, but to help with these social causes, to help the 30,000 elderly who were stuck in their homes who needed food. Immediately, they transformed bases into food packaging locations. And the soldiers went house to house, donating and delivering this food on behalf of the fellowship. We all know, Hinei lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. The guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. And the fellowship is so proud, so privileged to stand with these soldiers who carry that out. The watchmen on the walls, not only watching out for war, but watching out for ways that they can help others, whether it's delivering food aid, helping someone who's disabled. Israel has an army that we can all be proud of. And as I represent millions of Christians who stand with Israel and the Jewish people, I encourage you to join us and so many others, especially now, to stand with these holy soldiers of Israel to provide for them in their time of need during this very difficult period, just as they always provide for us. Thank you to everyone participating. May God bless Israel. May God bless America. Shalom.
Thank you so much, Yael, for your words and everything you and IFCJ do on behalf of our soldiers. A strong Israel requires a strong IDF to protect it. A strong IDF requires soldiers who can focus exclusively on their service and missions without being distracted by the burden of economic distress or worrying about putting food on their family's table. Traditionally, 20% of IDF soldiers have come from low socioeconomic bands, often filling the role of partial or even sole breadwinner on behalf of their family. However, due to the pandemic, unemployment in Israel has soared to 25%, creating a tremendous ripple effect, impacting as many as 3 times the number of soldiers who now find themselves struggling to cover their most basic needs. Tonight, help us help them. At the bottom of your screen are numbers for you to text or to call to show your support for Israel's guardians. Please make a tax-deductible gift in their honor and ensure they know that we always stand by their side. From generation to generation, the importance of having a strong IDF never wavers. This could not be truer today with the rising tide of anti-Semitism in our own backyard and around the globe. It shows us that now, 72 years after the establishment of Israel, we need a strong IDF to ensure the future of the Jewish people. Let's take a look together at the 3 generations of the Tessler family and the many ways FIDF touches the lives of generations.
In 1981, FIDF was founded by Holocaust survivors. They knew that had there been a state of Israel and a strong IDF, the Holocaust may never have happened. After all they went through, this special group of survivors and Israel supporters from the US chose to focus their attention on supporting IDF soldiers through a multitude of programs. One that is close to their hearts, FIDF Witnesses in Uniform, brings together IDF soldiers and survivors to Poland for a shared experience to give true meaning to the phrase, never again. Hannah Tessler, a Holocaust survivor who lives in Israel, went on several Witnesses in Uniform delegations to Poland.
אני נולדתי בצ'כוסלובקיה, בת 18. קיבלו אותנו, תדעו לכם שמכאן לא יוצאים, רק דרך הערובה. הנסיעה עם העדים במדים זה היה מאוד מיוחד. ובסוף אני נכנסתי שם עם צבא ההגנה לישראל. שהם ידעו שיש להם מה שלנו לא היה. אין מילים לתאר את זה.
Hannah's son, Aryeh, was a brigadier general in the IDF when he participated in FIDF's Witnesses in Uniform program with her.
עומדים אנו פה, ואיתנו אמי ודודתי, שאיבדו את כל משפחתם.
This journey was a very strong moment for me. I was looking at my mother. In one hand, how much she hurt standing in Auschwitz-Birkenau, but on the other hand, how proud she is, with all the officers behind her, salute and singing Atikva together on the graves of her family. When the officers in the IDF come back from Witnesses in Uniform, they can explain better why the Jewish people needs the state of Israel and why Israel needs a strong IDF in order to survive.
My name is Shira, I'm 21 years old. From the first day in the army, I think about my grandmother, and knowing that when she was my age, she went through terrible things. The words never again are very powerful to me. I feel very proud wearing the IDF uniform and serving my country. It's something I waited for my whole life. I serve as a parachute instructor that trains soldiers from special units to do free fall jump out of an IDF airplane. When the door opened, there's a rush of adrenaline. So far, I jumped 106 times, and each time was amazing, and I love it.
מסתכלת על התמונות, זאת הנכדה שלי. אני כל כך גאה.
My unit is adopted by the FIDF, and it's very strange to think that you are thousands of miles away, because it actually feels like you're right here next to us every day, supporting us in everything we do. Thank you, FIDF. תודה רבה.
Every day, FIDF supports the IDF soldiers with programs like Lone Soldiers, Momentum, Wounded, Horizon, Spiritual Needs, Dignity, and many more. Their job is to look after Israel. Ours is to look after them.
FIDF works directly with the IDF to meet soldiers' needs, lift their spirits, and ease their burden. Our programs provide a wide range of educational, social, cultural, and recreational needs. Your gift tonight helps fulfill their unmet needs. By providing financial relief for the additional 25% of soldiers impacted by COVID, by offering educational opportunities for those who could only dream of a high school or college diploma, and by ensuring that lone soldiers never feel truly alone. We are confronting the struggles of today's world together. FIDF needs you now more than ever. The soldiers need you as they work relentlessly protecting Israel from today's threats while preparing for tomorrow. Tonight's celebration is about the heroes of the IDF. Yet we know that without the commitment of our donor community, people like you and me, we would not be able to fulfill our mission of providing critical well-being support for our soldiers. Tonight, I am thrilled to announce that Cheryl and Chaim Saban, two of FIDF's most ardent and generous supporters, have generously pledged to match your donations, dollar for dollar, up to $500,000. And I'm also excited to share a second match from FIDF National Board member Mark Perlman and his wife Claire, passionate and beneficent supporters of FIDF's educational programs, who are matching an additional $500,000 tonight, a total match of $1 million. Thank you, Cheryl and Chaim, Claire and Mark, for your tremendous generosity and for making a tangible difference in the lives of Israel's brave soldiers. You are heroes in your own right. My friends, you too can be a hero this evening by calling or texting the number on your screen. No gift is too big or too small. The first $1 million will be matched dollar for dollar, doubling their impact and changing twice as many lives. So please, we are counting on you to donate right now so we can maximize our support for our beloved IDF soldiers. Every dollar counts. My friends, tonight is a bittersweet moment for me as your national chairman, as we wish farewell to our heroic leader for the past 6 years, Major General Meir Cliffy Amir, and welcome Rabbi Stephen Weil as FIDF's new CEO and National Director. Whenever we finish reading a book of the Torah and ready ourselves to start the next one, we join with one voice and say, Chazak, Chazak v'nitchazek, which means from strength to strength, may we be strengthened. How fitting is this expression? Cliffy, we thank you so much for your strength and for committing your life service to strengthening our beloved soldiers. We are deeply indebted to you for your years of dedicated service. Steve, welcome. May you continue to strengthen FIDF and our support to our heroic IDF soldiers. And now, General Cliffy, please say a few words.
Thank you, Peter. I so appreciate your warm words and everything you do for the State of Israel, the IDF, and the FIDF. To you, my dear friends, thank you so much for being here today. I am deeply honored and humbled by your presence and appreciate all your well wishes and blessing in the Gala Journal more than I can say. It has been my great honor to serve as the National Director and CEO of the Friends of the IDF for the past 6 years. During my tenure with FIDF, I have witnessed your love, devotion, and dedication for the young heroes who protect Israel. You have continued to answer the important call, standing beside these brave young men and women, making difference in their lives and ensuring that they are not and will never be alone. Being part of this great FIDF family and working alongside of all of you has been great privilege. After 6 years in my role, I can say firsthand and with full confidence that you are the best ambassadors for the State of Israel, and that you are the best advocates for the men and women in uniform. By taking care of our guardians, the soldiers of the IDF, you are strengthening the State of Israel and the Jewish people worldwide. Dear friends, with all the challenges Israel and the IDF are facing in our tough neighborhood, Israel and the IDF are always answering the call to help others and save people's lives around the world. It is part of our morality as a nation and the code of ethics of our soldiers, the highest of any military in the world. Our sons and daughters in uniform are not just soldiers, they are compassionate warriors. This is the beauty of the State of Israel. This is the beauty and the strength of the IDF. So, my dear friends, let us stay strong for them so they can stay strong for us, since their job is to look after Israel, and our job is to look after them. I am proud to be part of the Jewish people. We are a great nation who are often facing internal and external challenges. In order to continue to triumph, we must stand together as a one, in solidarity. Our strength is in our unity. Our bonds must be unbreakable. In the next 2 days, and after 6 years, I am returning back to my homeland, to my family. I am so proud of all of you. Together we have accomplished great deal. And just to mention one of those achievements, that between 2015 and 2019, we raised more than $570 million and made a difference in the life of hundreds of thousands of IDF soldiers. You should be proud of it. I am not saying shalom, goodbye. I am saying lehitraot, see you soon. Part of my heart and soul will stay forever here with you, with this great FIDF family. I want to wish Rabbi Steve Weil, FIDF's new National Director and CEO, my lay leaders, my professional dream team, and all of you, good luck and much success as you continue reach new heights in our key mission and vision. On behalf of the IDF and personally, I salute you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Major General Khalifi. We look forward to welcoming you here back in Israel. We welcome Israel's representative to the next year's Eurovision contest, Eden Elena, and the IDF Ensemble for a celebratory performance.
Once upon a time, I was looking for a sign. Put your mama, show the way, you'll be my guy. I love you. Love is on the mind. Close your like a destiny. Color party side to side. Confetti, confetti, falling on us from the sky. Say, all the people coming my way. Love is on my way. Makala kumade, de, makala kumade, masa. Makala kumade, de, makala kuma. Fukulubi. Tonight is our story. We celebrate the glory. We have no shame. Fukulubi. I'm not ashamed to love you. Tonight I'm gonna find you. I call your name. Fukulubi. Habib Alubi. Ahubi. Otani ohevet. Fukulubi. Habib Alubi. Ahubi. Otani ohevet. Fukulubi wadi hello, know what I love you. 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 Fukulubi wadi hello, know what I love you.
FIDF, we are the IDF Ensemble and we are so happy to be here performing for all of you. What an exciting event. Now, let's keep the energy going!
והבנות, מה עם הבנות? חפש בישראל הן הכי יפות. והבנים, מה עם הבנים? כולם צבע שוקו, וואלה איזה שזופים. כמה מסיבות, קופצים ברחבות. מת על השמש אבל חם לי ברמות.
יאללה, קומו, תעשו שכולם יזוזו. יאללה, קומו, תעשו שכולם יזוזו. חגיגה בישראל, תגיד תודה לאל שיש לנו בית. השמיים נקיים ושמש לפנים, תרימו לחיים. אז באנו לעשות לכם טירוף, כולם תרימו את הידיים לשמיים. תמיד אתה יכול לברוח מהכל, אפילו לשמיים. חגיגה, חגיגה, חגיגה בישראל, בישראל. חגיגה, חגיגה, חגיגה.
כולם עמדו אצלה בתור, היא לא יודעת שיש בה משהו מיוחד. היא משגעת, היא תסובב אותך, סובב אותך, סובב. היא תעקוץ כל גבר שאליה יתקרב.
היא תסובב אותך, סובב אותך, סובב. היא תעקוץ כל גבר שאליה יתקרב.
מי שיכיר אותה,
מזל,
אתה צריך טיפה.
מזל,
מי שיפסיד לזה גורל אחינו. ויש לה יופי
מיוחד,
ותרחם
אף אחד.
כל מה שרק אני צריך זה רק מזל, 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 מזל.
מזל, מזל. מזל, מזל.
היום אני הולך להשתגע. היום
כשהבזוקי נותן דן צ'יקידן, צ'יקידן סוחבת הדרבוקות על הגב, צ'ימידן רוקדת יווני אבל אחי היא מכאן, שילוב מסוכן.
מסוכן זה עדיף, כזאת שאם תשם על הלשון זה חריף, שבא לך לאכול כל היום כמו חטיף, עלה לו קצת האף לי עלה הסעיף, אין לי תחליף.
איזה לילה מחכה לי, כמה טוב זה עושה לי, כל הבום בום טקה בום בום, כל הבום בום טקה בום בום. עוזו עד השמיים, טברנה על שפת המים, עם הבום בום טקה בום בום, תן לי בום בום טקה בום בום, יעשו. שלנו מתחתן, לילה לבן, קלה וחתן ויאללה בלגן. לא יאמן, היא אמרה לו כן, אח שלנו מתחתן, לילה לבן, קלה וחתן ויאללה בלגן.
אח שלנו מתחתן,
דללה דללה,
עם הכלה מלכת החן.
דללה דללה,
אח שלנו מתחתן,
דללה דללה,
הנה היא מלכת החן.
דללה דללה.
Thank you, Ed and Elena. Good luck in the Eurovision. And thank you for the IDF Ensemble for such an energizing and impressive performance. And thank you all for being with us. Peter, it's been such an honor to co-host with you such an exciting and unforgettable event. Thank you.
Thanks, Moran. And thanks to everyone who has joined us tonight from across the United States and Panama. Thanks for your continued support and love of the IDF soldiers. My wife Ellen joins me in wishing all of you a happy and healthy Shana Tova.
We hope that you will continue to support the IDF soldiers as they continue to protect and defend the state of Israel 24/7. Wishing you all a happy New Year and Shana Tova. Shana Tova.